If I was going back home, like this person be my family, then it's like more of like a panic mode.
How
like,
did you stumble across trans porn?
And it was not beneficial to my health. I realized I was like, I can't do that for 30
Working with
years.
me is beneficial to your health.
Because I would say at a certain point, I was like a homophobic person.
You was homophobic.
And
welcome back to T-Rated, where we have conversations on life, growth, and of course, TS. I am your host, Andy Jaide. I have a very special guest with me here today. Do you want to introduce yourself, Tevin?
yes, I'm Tevin. I am Andy's videographer and photographer as well. And I'm happy to have to be on here today.
How does it feel to be on this side of the camera instead of the other side of the camera?
It's nerve-wracking, very nerve-wracking. I'm super nervous right now.
They're gonna love you though. Everybody loves Tevin.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
So do you want to tell the people how we met, how we know each other, what it's like working Andy Jaide?
Let's see, which one should I start with? How we met?
Yeah.
Was it a dating app or something? It was a while ago.
Tell them that part. Yeah, it was a while ago though.
Yeah, it was like maybe
It was like 3 years ago, probably.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago.
But nothing ever came of that.
Yeah. And I would say we reconnected via social media, and that's how we kind of came together and started working together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun working with Andy Jaide Entertainment.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate it?
1 to 10, how much I hate it?
Or how difficult is it?
It's not difficult at all. I wouldn't say it's very difficult. I say it's challenging, but it's like a good challenge. Like, as like a creative person, when you have to figure out a way how to do something, that's like my favorite part. Being a photographer, videographer, like, all right, what do I need to do in order to get this result? Mm-hmm. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, how much I like it, I would say an 8.
An 8? Why is it not a 10?
You know, we've had a couple instances where, you know,
where what?
Had some hiccups with talent, with you know everybody we work with sometimes, and those are pretty funny experiences, and it ends up, you know, messing up the flow of the shoot. But at the same time, it's a good story to tell. Yeah. At the end of the day,
it creates a lot of memorable experiences. How long have you lived in Atlanta?
See, since 2017, so coming up on 6 years this summer.
Did you live anywhere else besides Fitzgerald before then?
Valdosta.
Oh.
But same. I mean, it's like the same area.
Because the funny thing too is, because I moved up here in 2010, but me and his hometown are like 15 minutes apart. So I always find it serendipitous that me and you both ended up in Atlanta.
Right.
How old are you?
Almost 30.
You have to think about it.
Yeah, I always have to think about it.
Yeah, so we grew up around, like, same place, around the same time. Very different experiences.
Yeah. Definitely, probably dramatically different experiences, but still, you know, we see the same area of life. Pretty boring down there.
It's not boring. I mean, Fitzgerald had
Chicken Festival.
Chicken Festival. We had the Fire Festival.
We had football, though.
Yeah, football, because we always played our starter season game against y'all.
Yeah, I remember
every year. And y'all always whipped my high school's ass.
I actually had a dream last night. It was funny as hell. This is completely unrelated. I had a dream I was back teaching again. If y'all didn't know, I used to be a middle school teacher. Terrible experience, but it was pretty good, too, at the same time. But I had a dream I was yelling at kids again. And I woke up and I was like, fuck.
Well, how did you go from teaching to being a videographer and photographer?
Well, I started photography at the same time while I was student teaching, right before I needed a hobby back in college. And I was like, let me get myself a credit card. It was from Best Buy. Got myself a Best Buy credit card, got the camera, and I taught myself how to shoot that summer by going to the gym and just shooting people playing basketball and stuff. So it's been pretty, like, it was everything was at the same time, synced up and everything. But teaching got to be a little bit too much for me, too stressful. So I had to like make like a super life decision.
Middle schoolers?
I mean, I love them, but at the same time, I like hate them at the same time. And it was not beneficial to my health.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I realized I was like, I can't do that for
Working
30
with
years.
me is beneficial to your health.
I mean, flexible hours.
Uh-huh.
Flexible hours, call in sick and stuff, you know.
Not calling sick. Me and him both, you can probably hear it, me and him both are suffering from something. So we were supposed to start filming stuff yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
And we moved to today instead. You seem so nervous. Stop being so nervous.
I don't feel like I'm nervous.
How's Atlanta been since you moved here?
It's been a great place for me to expand my business.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was like probably the most beneficial part in not being able to, you know, being stuck in a box. Because I really wanted to stay down south and teach middle school and everything. Because I had an interview with the school I student taught at. And eventually that didn't work out. They gave the position to somebody else. And then I still was going to stick around. But like I was working at like a Home Depot or something like that.
Not the Home Depot.
I was working at Home Depot in the lumber department, and it was this guy, this white guy I was working with. And he said something that was like super borderline racist.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here.
So you came to Atlanta?
And I was like, I gotta go. My former roommate, his mom helped me get a job with the schools, helped us both get a job with the school system. So that kind of set my path to come to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty smooth. My first night up here, right when I got up here, my car got hit. So like, it kind of started out rough. Like it forced me to like get another credit card. So because I had to pay for like the repairs and stuff like that. Had to get like a rental car and everything. So it was a rough first month.
Promoting a lot of credit cards.
I mean, I had to, but now like my credit, I'm good with money.
Uh-huh.
Like my credit score is like, I ain't gonna tell y'all what my credit score is.
Tell them.
It's like, you know, there's scammers out here.
That might have your eligibility.
My credit score is like great right now and everything. I'm good with managing money, so.
He's good with managing money. Are you single?
I am.
He's single.
I am.
He's good with managing money. He said he's got good credit. We might could find you somebody, Tevin.
Possibly.
What's your type?
I wouldn't know how to describe my type. I really don't have one. It's just like, I don't know. It depends on my mood, or I guess, I don't know.
Your mood?
I really, like, I've been single for so long, and I find a lot of women attractive. So I wouldn't say I have a specific type, but I would say like based on my last almost relationship.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. How would I describe
You love a good almost relationship.
I don't know how I would describe her. Yeah, I really wouldn't know how I would describe her. I like thick women. I don't know if that's like she was goal oriented and everything like that. She was good with her money. So I would say smart is always something that's a must. You gotta look good, of course. And you know, you gotta be compassionate to an extent. You know.
Aww. You want somebody with a nice heart.
Of course, I think
you ain't gonna find that in Atlanta. These bitches around here will ruin you.
This is true. This is why I'm single right now.
Coming from a bitch in Atlanta. But inside of your type, though, is it trans women, cis women, both? You know that's what we want to talk about on here.
I would say both. Like, I find cis women attractive, trans women attractive. Like, you just got to be, I mean...
Has that been like a longer ongoing thing, or does the stereotype hold true?
What is the stereotype?
Men move to Atlanta and they get freaked out, or that's that Atlanta shit.
I would say moving to a bigger city, seeing like more different walks of life and everything, like it opened my eyes to more things. And like, I wouldn't say, I would say like staying in the South, it like shelters you from a lot. You typically like hate what you don't understand. Because I would say at a certain point, I was like a homophobic person.
You was homophobic?
And it took somebody like in my life.
Were you calling people the F word in high school?
probably as a kid, but not in high school.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, when you said that word, like, as a kid, you didn't understand. You didn't
The context of
yeah,
it.
you just knew it was just like a word you called somebody.
Derogatory.
Yeah, you just knew you called somebody that when something wasn't going right for yourself or whatever. Like you just called them the F word or whatever, just because you're a kid and that's what you heard. Back to what I was saying about somebody in my life, like, he opened up about it to me because he was family to me. He told me, like, he came out of the closet and whatever. He told me, like, reasons why he think he's the way he is, and that helped open my eyes to a lot of things. Because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with somebody being a homosexual.
Not homosexual. That's a Southern word. Yeah, homosexual.
They just want to be happy, just like everybody else in life. And that's where I learned not to, like, judge people try not to judge people. Like, you're gonna automatically judge people, but I try not to judge people based on that particular part of their life, because that has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with you, unless, like, you are involved with that person.
Yeah. Like, when did that realization of?
I would say after I moved to Atlanta.
Okay. So see, it is true. Why do you have to make stereotypes true, Tevin?
I mean, all stereotypes are they're
in general have a little truth to them.
Yeah, because it's a stereotype.
But I think Atlanta gets that stereotype a lot. But the thing is, to go back to what you were saying about moving to a bigger city, I feel like anytime, especially if you come from, like, a smaller town, when you move to a bigger city, you have more access to different types of people, and so it opens your mind up to a lot of different stuff. And the reality is there's not, like, a whole lot of transsexuals running around South Georgia or running around, like, any kind of small town places. And so when I feel like a lot of times when men come to bigger cities, they just have more exposure to it, and so that's what, like, creates it. I feel like Atlanta's not anymore. That's not any more prone to happen in Atlanta as it is, like, New York or, like, LA or Chicago or Seattle or Miami.
Yeah, because it's bigger cities. Yeah. Everything's bigger cities.
And we just gravitate towards bigger cities because usually they're a little bit more progressive.
Oh, for sure.
For us anyway.
There's a lot of stuff you can't do down south.
You can. The thing is, they're still doing it.
Yeah, it's just like it's a lot less frequent.
Yeah, I feel like they have less access to, like, the in-person aspect of it, but I feel like a lot of the internet has created a different space.
Oh yeah, you can do anything on the internet.
Yeah,
now.
Than, like, when we were growing up.
You have access to everybody with one click.
Yeah,
but it creates safe spaces for people too.
So, what was your first experience with a trans woman then? Like, not the sexual aspect, just, like, how did it come to happen?
Let me see.
Dang, you don't remember your first time? Whoever you were, you weren't that special.
I think conversing with you might have been...
I was the first trans person you talked to?
Because it was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was the first one.
Yeah.
No, I just said I wasn't memorable.
No, because I had to, like, I was like, Andy, and I was trying to, like, just peel back layers, like, yeah, I really don't know that many trans women.
Damn. Y'all welcome. To the other bitches who actually get him, y'all welcome. Well, this makes my line of questioning more awkward. Did you have any relation to, like, trans women at all, even if it's just through, like, online content and stuff like that beforehand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say yes. Just, like, browsing porn and whatnot. Yeah. Like,
on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would say...
Well, when did that start? Did that start after you moved to Atlanta or before?
I want to say afterwards. But, like, I've seen it before, but I was like, that was just something I wasn't interested in. But I think that was, like, when I was at, like, that closed off point in my life. I was like,
how did you stumble across trans porn?
I mean, all these big-ass search engines on there. You could put so many, like, you just put in a category, like, sometimes it'll fall in there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say my first interaction was with porn. Communication was you. I needed what was was it a add-on question somewhere?
No, because yeah, I want to know like your first experience with a trans person, like in person. Who was the first? Do you remember the first trans person you ever met in person? I'm pretty sure that wasn't me.
No. Yeah, I remember, but I don't think I can talk about it.
But it was like purely sexual based, or like y'all went on a date?
Yeah, it was a date.
Okay. No, she was straight out the gate, like on a date.
I mean, it was a pretty person.
See? Well, how do you walk me through the internal dialogue that happened on your end that got you to go on a date, like the first time you were ever in the same space as a trans person, to go on a date with them? Because typically what happens is men look at porn, and then the first time they're ever going to try to do anything with a trans woman, they go straight to just the straight sexual aspect of it, and it's done very secretive, discreetly. So I feel like the story of the first time you were ever around a trans person, you just went on a date with them, is a lot more unique.
I mean, you said like the internal dialogue, like with yourself.
Yeah. Did you think into it? Did you think, what if I go and they clock? This bitch gets clocked, and everybody.
It was more so
at the restaurant knows that I'm with a transsexual.
I mean, I was just more so. It's more so. It wasn't that aspect of it. It was more so like, I hope you're as attractive as you look
in person.
Yeah, because it was
but
like,
I mean, you can have that with anybody.
Yeah, that was more of the feel of it than oh my god, this is a trans woman, and what if everybody looks or stuff like. I wasn't like most of the times now, like I'm in a mind space where like I really don't care what people think too much. I care more so about what I think of myself, because like whenever this plays back on me, looking at myself like, damn, you was really stumbling over your fucking words. But like that's more so my dialogue is or my internal dialogue, like, dang, I hope you are as good as you made yourself out to be on X, Y, and Z profile or whatever. It's not more so like me versus the world, or me and that person versus the world.
Mm-hmm. That's so shocking to me, in a good way. Just because, well, why do you think you didn't have like those kind of thoughts going into it?
I mean, that's
like we both come from like conservative Southern towns.
But like my mind now is like, well, my mind was what?
At that point.
Yeah, 2 years ago. It's kind of my mindset now that's like, I really don't be caring about what people think. It's like, I'm like, it's Atlanta. Like if I was going back home, like this person's be my family, then it's like more of like a panic mode. Like I might in my mind, I'm like, I'm overthinking. I might be overthinking the situation, but in Atlanta, I'm just like, I'm going on a date.
Yeah.
If I was like going back home and doing it, it'd be like a lot different. Just cause like
different how?
Like small town, people gonna see you on a date. I'm like, oh, y'all are together. Like y'all are boyfriend and girlfriend. Like that's how it is down south. Like somebody see you.
But they still do that in Atlanta though, or just in general, like on the internet. Anytime I have been tied to any guy on the internet, people automatically think like I'm fucking them, or like it's some kind of relationship like that.
Oh, that's just like, that's pretty funny.
I can't just be friends with people.
Yeah, I understand that because my friend.
Yeah. And so I appreciate the fact that you were like, well, people just think we're just out in Atlanta. They'll just think you're out hanging out with them.
Yeah, so funny thing you just mentioned that. So I just went on a trip with me and my photography partner. And she said she got hella DMs because she was posting like our road trip, and she got hella DMs, like people saying, oh, yeah, I thought y'all was together, such and such. And I'm like, you can't post anybody of the opposite sex or they're going to think you together.
Yeah,
that shit's crazy.
So my next question I want to ask you is, I want to preface it by saying that in reality, in the grand scheme of things, this is something that I feel like unless you are trans, you don't have a whole lot of room to speak on it, but I still want to hear your opinion on it. And that is, when do you think trans women should disclose? Or
I don't want to say I think they have to, but I would say when they feel comfortable and also feel safe. Because, you know, motherfuckers is crazy. They go ballistic and shit like that. And then, you know, if they tell a friend, their friend gonna be in their ear to talk, and then they'll, you know, some people end up missing or murdered or something like that. But I feel like they should disclose at a point. But that's like when they're comfortable and they feel like they should with that person. Yeah. Like if it's not gonna be, if it's gonna be like they're about to be in a relationship and shit, and that person clearly doesn't know. Yes, please do, because that person is gonna, you know, might freak out. Yeah. So that is my opinion on it. But like,
so if a man comes up to a bar and says hi to me,
and I'm some random,
should I tell him as soon as he says hi to me that I'm trans?
No, y'all just, you know, I'll be like, y'all should just talk and get to know each other. He sees you as a woman. I mean,
but he might not in the long run. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. This is what people.
Yeah. I completely understand. But I would say he sees you as a woman. Y'all aren't that personal yet. Y'all aren't that close yet. So it's no reason. It's not like
for me to start telling him.
Yeah. You ain't gotta tell him all that unless he acts. And then if you're comfortable to tell him, yes, because he might be asking for a completely different reason, just to target you or something like that. So I would say whenever the person is comfortable and feels safe in like a safe space where, like, you know, shit can't go crazy, yes, disclose. But I'm not going to say it's like, yeah, you must disclose, because I'm not that person. I don't like telling people what they should and should not do, because it's not my place.
Yeah. That's why I prefaced it by saying that, like, unless you're trans, it's not like a whole lot.
Yeah. That I can really say,
because
it's gonna sound ignorant as hell. Like it's gonna sound like comment section on Instagram or some shit.
What they say in the comment section?
Maybe I haven't read any, but like if we could look up a comment section on just like a post that would say, should a trans woman disclose? When should a trans woman disclose?
They're all gonna say like,
and it's gonna have all the crazy ass comments. You're gonna have, you know, you're gonna have like maybe 10 positive comments, and the most negative comment is gonna be the first one. It's gonna be pinned on there for clicks and for people to, you know, it's gonna have like 2,000 likes.
Who is that? Ben Vino. When the video with him and between him and Shauna Brooks came out, the phone call or whatever, he ended up doing like a little online redemption tour, kind of. But in it, he talked about like trans women and when they should disclose, and like his viewpoint was almost to the point of like, as soon as no matter what scenario it is, that you should tell people. Like regardless of like, you could be somebody
at a birthday party.
You could be at a birthday party. You could be at a gender reveal party, and if people try to talk to you or say anything to you, they should know it, because I feel like a lot of people think that it colors the entirety of our viewpoints on stuff, and so that's why we should always disclose to people.
That's weird. That's very weird.
But I feel like if you're just friends with somebody,
yeah, like
there's no reason to
at all.
Yeah,
at all.
So we can do whatever we want to.
I mean, they say it's a free country, but it's really not. You gotta be careful where you tread.
That's why when I was like actively trying to date, I always preferred. I didn't like online dating because it had gotten to a point to where a lot of people who were on like my online dating profiles were like disingenuous in regards to like how they found me, because a lot of people, especially in Atlanta, had like were already like
what you do,
dance, and then what I do, and so but then they would try to find me on dating profiles
and be like, oh hey, first time seeing you.
Didn't know who you were, but I liked that aspect because you can just put it like you're trans in your bio, and either people are going to talk to you or not.
Yeah. For
the most part, because I used to, at one point I had it written across like my main profile photo, and like people would still match me and be like, "Oh no, I didn't know you were trans."
And guys get a pass because people think they're stupid already, so they're only gonna see one photo and they just swipe. That's so funny.
They used to do that shit to me all the time, like some idiots. But like with trans people and dating, do you think it's a pipe dream for trans women to think we're going to get to a place where more men are open about dating trans women? Or do you feel like we're progressing to that?
I would say it was probably a very minor progression. I was just a lot of, like religious standpoints and people not wanting to, go against the grain. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it a pipe dream, like it's just impossible, but it would just depend on, I don't want to say like depend on what city you're in, because that's like secrecy. It's keeping basically keeping you a secret. Like we only can date in Atlanta, or we only can date like in big cities.
I only dated somebody in.
So I would say it's minor progression because it's like so many other steps to take before you get to that, and plus like people's mindsets aren't gonna change overnight, and it would take probably like a few generations of people
to get to where
where it's normal, like because it's like I don't know how true it is, but like after a certain point everybody on earth is going to be brown because
they feel like the year like 3000
like everybody's gonna be brown, but like that's like forever like you're not gonna see it, your kids aren't gonna see that time and everything like that. So I would say it's very minor progression, but not impossible.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting to me too about like that kind of question is I was looking at I posted something on Twitter, and one of my followers actually posted an article, and I cannot remember the group of people that he referenced, but it was talking about how in prior civilizations, like trans people were spiritual leaders, or they were seen as like a crucial part of the community, or you have like other cultures who they believe in the idea of like non-binary, or people who like embody both spirits. And so it's interesting to see the fact that hundreds and thousands of years ago we came from that, and then now we're still here.
Yeah.
In this generation now, having a conversation about if trans people will ever get to the point where like the men will just date them. When used to moved out here, and like even what you were saying, like the religion.
Yeah.
It's like now we're still out. Like people are having a religious issue with trans people, or being in a relationship with trans people, or having trans people on TV.
Yeah. You should definitely find that article.
You think we have too many trans people on TV? It's a lot. If you
I don't watch much TV. I think like who was it that made it like really? Her name is T.S. Madison. Yeah. So like, yeah, and like I think that's like one of the only ones I see on TV, because like I don't watch like TV necessarily, like reality TV or anything like that. But
it's so funny to me when they always like when people try to use a religious argument for us not being like on certain TV shows, or like people shouldn't see that and all this kind of stuff because it's like not godly and all this kind of stuff. It's always funny because it's like we're always on the same TV shows that have like infidelity on them and like premarital sex.
And those goes
in general. And so it's like, so if we're seeing, we can't just be lumped in with this all your other things. But if you actually do a lot of research and look at like trans people through history, there's like a lot of civilizations for like trans people, or something that would be trans adjacent. Throughout history. What is one thing you feel like people should know about me that's not necessarily Andy Jaide the brand?
And that you're really not that bougie. You fancy and whatnot, but you're really not like as bougie, or like don't talk to me. You don't talk to me because you're not a very social person anyways, but like you're not like a mean person or anything like that. I would think people probably get that from you, but as you reveal like more layers of yourself just off like little promos and like these sit down conversations, people get a better better vantage point of who you are as a person. That like you're not like force feeding people, hey, you need to think this way, but you're just letting people know like, hey, These are issues I deal with on a daily.
I try to have a little more grace for people.
Yeah. So people, get a better perception of you.
So where can you want them to find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Mike, WHOTMIKE, and on Twitter, Shot by Tev.
Okay, Shot by Tev.
Yeah, I tried to make up a new one, but I really don't post on Twitter anymore. I just look at my sports shit.
For your photography stuff?
I do, but you can find it. It's just a portfolio. You can find it in my Instagram bio.
Thank you, Tevin.
Thank you for having me.
Not too bad.
It was pretty smooth. It was pretty funny. I'm gonna end up going back to look at this shit and get all my funny ass facial reactions. But it was fun. I appreciate you having me.